Good evening. It is Monday, August 18, 2025. This is the Borough Assembly regular meeting. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Vice Mayor Marsh,
Here.
Mayor Jensen,
Excused.
Member Newman,
Here.
Member Schwartz,
Here.
Member Stanton Gregor,
Here.
Member Lynn, Member Valentine.
Here.
Thank you. Next, we have the voluntary pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, could I get a motion for the approval of the regular assembly meeting minutes from August 4, 2025, please?
I'd move to approve those minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Next, we have amendment and approval of meeting agenda. Could I get a motion, please?
I move to approve the the agenda as presented for the Monday, August 18th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have public hearings. We don't have any this evening, nor do we have any bid awards. Persons to be heard related to agenda. Anyone wishing to share their views on any item on today's agenda may do so at this time. Do we have any, clerk, do we have anyone on Zoom?
There's no one on Zoom.
All right, thank you. Next, we have persons to be heard unrelated to agenda. Anyone with views on subjects not on today's agenda may share those views at this time. Do we have anyone?
There's no one on Zoom.
All right, thank you. We don't have any boards, commission, or committee reports. Next, we have a consent agenda item. We have one item. It's a liquor license renewal for Inga's Galley. ID Ventures LLC, DBA Inga's Galley, has applied to renew their restaurant liquor license. The assembly may support or protest the application within 60 days of the date of notice of the application filing. Could I get a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for Inga's Galley.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Report of other officers, we have the mayor's report. We don't have any other ones except for that. Mayor's report is filing for candidacy for the October 7, 2025 municipal election. The filing period to run for an assembly, board, or commission seat for the Petersburg Borough ends at 4:30 p.m. on August 26, 2025. Paperwork to file for candidacy is available on the borough website or at the front desk of the municipal building. Absentee and early voting information. Applications to request absentee ballots are available on the borough website or upstairs in the municipal building. Early voting will begin on September 17 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. downstairs in the municipal building. For more information on the election, go to www.petersburgak.gov and click on the orange banner at the top of the screen. Next, we have the manager's report. Mr.
Thank you,
Eastman.
ma'am. Thanks to Absolute Drains, both the elderly housing water tanks have new mixing valves and are working wonderfully. Southeast Windowcraft replaced the last 6 oversized windows in the stairwell of elderly housing. This has been a 10+ year project in upgrading all the original 1982 windows. They've done a phenomenal job in their workmanship with minimal impact to our residents and operations. We have volleyball camp starting next week. Lifeguard course is coming up August 22nd through the 24th. Any interested people 15 years or older can contact Scott Burke for more information. School swim and dive team is already in the water. And the staff will be attending a water safety webinar focusing on open water risks and safety. It's hosted by the Safe Kids Worldwide, brought to us by the Alaska Office of Boating Safety. BDO, our auditors, will be in town with their team September 8th through the 12th to perform the borough's annual audit. And the library will be closed Monday, September 15th through the 17th for replacement of the windows. Painting fresh crosswalks around the school as weather permits. And Public Works installed a storm drain in the police parking lot to eliminate buildup of winter ice. We moved about 400 yards of shot rock from the quarry to the Public Works yard to be used for future projects. And working on replacing a worn out rear differential on one of the borough's 2 5-yard dump trucks and removing the wing blade from the grader prior to shipping it to Juneau for repairs. Garbage bears are still very active, and we are continuing our public education campaign to encourage folks to keep garbage secured as required by Borough Code. We also have bear straps for garbage cans back in stock at Public Works. These are available to sanitation customers free upon request. Traffic at the baling facility is very high, with lots of garbage being generated by the harbors and fish processors. And we replaced the floor joist for the lower level of the volunteers burn tower and working on templates to replace broken outhouse windows with Lexan, a more cost-effective solution. Replacing the bird netting above the scale at sanitation, and Rick Braun completed the monument survey at the Cabin Creek Dam. Nordic Diving completed the dive inspection and cleaning of intakes and bypasses on both dams. And work continues on Pump Station 4 and the force main upgrade project. Excavation, inside the coffer dam cell is progressing as they weld in to reinforce the structure. The wet well is scheduled to be set early this week. Some manholes and pipe have also been installed along the corridor. Staff and PCS are working to identify and repair communication failures between the lift station and the plant. And the line crew will be scheduled in isolated and limited power outages soon to address maintenance items on the distribution system. Public service announcement will be sent out with direct notifications to affected customers prior to the outages. The cooperative effort between the Crystal Lake Hatchery operator, Sarah and Power and Light to install a second tail race vent pipe was a success. The flow restriction caused by entrained air at higher turbine outputs has been resolved, and the total dissolved gas was reduced. Sarah is consulting with the owner of the hatchery, which is the state of Alaska, to determine if steps to add more venting or make other changes to the tail race would be appropriate to decrease the TDG levels further. PCS recently helped Power and Light with installation of wireless access points at the Hydro and Crystal Lake Dam. This will improve communications dramatically at those facilities and allow for technical support access and Wi-Fi based phone calls in support of operations and safety considerations at the remote sites. PCX cleaned up the networking equipment in our control room and installed a new firewall that improves cybersecurity for our SCADA system. And the new Scow Bay generator was picked up by a contracted trucking company on August 12th. The unit will be trucked from Houston, Texas to the AML dock in Seattle over the course of a week. The unit will then be loaded onto a AML barge and start the trip to Petersburg. Power and Light is working with Rock and Road Construction to help move the 133,000-pound generator to borough property once it arrives. Temporary shelter is being purchased to protect the generator over the course of the winter. Power and Light has issued a request for proposals for a design build project to advance the current 30% Scow Bay generator facility plans to contract construction-ready documents and then negotiate a construction price to build a permanent home for the generator. It is anticipated that once a contract has been awarded, engineering proceed this fall and construction can start in the spring. Several contractors have shown interest in the project so far. Power and Light has heard from Southeast Conference that the rollout of the Alaska Heat Smarts ACES Accelerating Clean Energy Savings program in Petersburg is getting close to reality. Within the next 1 to 2 months, the heat pump grant program will be available to Petersburg residents. It's important to note that Petersburg household that is thinking about buying a heat pump should wait until this program rolls out before making a purchase. No retroactive grants are allowed by the program funding source. Glo and I met with ACL last week and kind of an update. They had a full crew here to visit, and we basically discussed the proposed contract. The meeting was very friendly, but probably not entirely as successful as I would have hoped for. ACL again brought up the issue of Davis-Bacon wages and seemed to pivot towards leasing the Tidelands and building their own facility. After a long meeting, we ended up asking them to let us know which direction they want to go and for a list of what issues on our proposal they would like to change. I heard from their director of port and infrastructure this morning, and he committed that that's, in fact, they're working on that now and will get us something. On the short list, they expressed concern over having to pay the passenger fee. They don't want to pass it on to their customers. The Davis-Bacon wage issue and some concerns over the design they feel it might be a bit over-engineered for what they need it for. Glow and I told them the borough would likely put restrictions on what they build if they go the least direction, and this seemed to concern them. It is important to remember we are still negotiating, and they left smiling, so we'll see what they send us and what can we go from there. So, and that's it.
Thank you for that report. Are there any questions for the manager from the assembly? Okay. That brings us to unfinished business, which we have none. So new business is item number 15, ordinance 2025-13. An ordinance of the Petersburg Borough adjusting the FY 2026 budget for known changes. Harbor Shed Roof. This project was originally budgeted for the FY 2025 year. The construction project was delayed due to contractor availability. Construction is now scheduled for this fall. This adjustment to the FY 2026 budget allocates $180,000 to complete the project. Blind Slough Hydro Dam Breach Study. This proposed expense of $59,942 is to fund a professional services contract for the completion of a dam break study in FY 2026. A proposal has been received from Macmillan, the engineering firm that designed the Blind Slough Hydro upgrades, and also acts as our chief dam safety engineer. A copy of the proposal is attached to the assembly packet. Next, we have a GIS project. This project helps support electric, water, and wastewater departments. Additional funding, $15,000 to be split between the three utilities, is needed to continue a support contract with RDI, the GIS expert that assisted with the in-the-field data collection effort this summer. This additional professional support will help the borough staff complete utility maps and provide guidance as the utilities begin to use the GIS system and expand on its functionality. The increased budget will also allow for additional training of our in-house GIS technicians to ensure effective management of the GIS data. Could I get a motion, please?
I'd move to approve this ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions from the assembly? Ms. Valentine?
Yes, thank you. Carl, can you speak a little bit more on this hydro dam breach study, please?
Yes, I can.
Yes, thank you.
Through the mayor. So this study has actually been pushed by FERC on the municipality for quite some time. And because we were already following all of the regulations concerning a high hazard dam, and there was very little promise that even if we completed the study that would be able to reduce our hazard classification, we resisted to do this. It costs a lot too, obviously. When I first came to Power and Light, the estimate from FERC at that time was $50,000 to do a study like this. The estimate I got last year from Macmillan was over $100,000, so like $104,000. And so it's not getting any cheaper to do this, but the advantage to doing it now is that the LiDAR information that was basically given to the borough by the U.S. Forest Service has saved us a large sum of money. That data is as current as it's ever going to be right now. That in combination with some staff changes at FERC, our project engineer that oversees our project specifically is new to us. He just came to the agency, but he came from the Corps of Engineers and has a background in hydraulics and hydrology. So he understands this science behind dam break studies very well. And he saw, the size of our project, and I felt that it was positive during when he was here in July for the annual dam safety inspection that he asked about the hazard classification. So I think that it all might be lining up right now to really get this taken care of and push hard on reducing the hazard classification to significant hazard instead of high hazard. And the reason to do that is because it decreases our regulation at the dam dramatically and will save us a substantial sum of money avoiding future mandated inspections and studies that pushes our way. So that's what this is all about.
So then, did this kind of come about because we put the new upgrades on? They're like, hey, this is probably a good time to also do this study as well? Just because we did just have all the upgrades?
Through the mayor, not necessarily. This
Mm.
is actually showing up this because that LiDAR information was made available. And LiDAR, for those of you that don't know, is it's a very, very detailed aerial mapping of the entire island that the Forest Service did. And so we requested and received the information on the downstream area below the dam and in Blind Slough in both directions, and received that information. Initial review by our engineers of that data, they said it was very favorable. The differences between the 1985 study is the one that we've been using, for the last 40 years. And their initial review was dramatic. And so all that being said, there's no guarantees that FERC is going to lower our hazard classification at the dam. But as I said, I think things are aligning right now to push really hard and see if we can get it done.
And then reading the study, this definitely seems to have an effect for the hatchery too. Is there any way that we can get help from the hatchery as well for this expense?
No, not unlikely. That's very
Yeah,
unlikely.
Right.
So the license that we have with FERC does require us to give a certain amount of flow to the hatchery, different amounts for different months of the year. But the regulation is all ours. And I can't see the hatchery helping us out with this expense, because honestly, it doesn't so much help the hatchery as it helps us to avoid future costs.
And sorry, and just to make sure I understood that, I think I read it wrong. Are we at significant trying to go to high, or vice versa?
Vice versa. We're at high.
We're at
and
high.
Trying to go to significant.
Try to go to
Significant is a step down.
Okay. That's all I have.
Yes, Member Stan Gregor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So to boil down all the other details aside for those listening at home, last investing was 59,942. There's potential for that to lower risk and thereby add significant financial savings later on.
Very much.
To be overly
very much
simplified,
so,
but okay.
yes. So every 5 years, an example, every 5 years, we have to do an inspection, and more in-depth inspection. The last one we did was what they call a periodic inspection, which is kind of a cursory inspection, not much more than the annual. But in 5 years from that time, we're going to have to do something called a comprehensive assessment, which we have to pull out everything in our license and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And so the periodic inspection costs about $75,000, I believe. The comprehensive assessment is probably going to cost 3 times that much. If we get a significant hazard classification on our dam, it's possible that we can either stick with periodic inspections in perpetuity, or lower that cost. So that in itself pays for this study.
Thank you for that clarification. Sorry to interrupt you if you had more. Thank you, Carl.
Member Val.
And this is a kind of it seems like, and as I was doing a little research outside of this, what proposed here, but this seems to be like a normal thing almost every dam has to go through, right? They all have to have us go through these 5 years cycle, or maybe not 5 years, but whatever other dams do it, right? So
Every dam has a safety inspection schedule.
because we have a dam that,
Yeah.
okay, right, okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this? I do have a question on the harbor shed roof. I see Harbor Master Wallen. Would you address that for us, please?
Yes, you bet. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yes, we just forgot about putting it into to the budget this cycle. It's been on our plans for 3 years, and we went through the bidding process, and it came in considerably less. If you remember, we had to go through the cycle of adding funds to last year's budget to up it to 300,000, so we'd have enough when we went out to bid, because that was as high as the estimate. And then it came in less than that. And so through all of that, it's completely my fault. I did not carry it over into 2026's budget because theoretically it should have been done, but it didn't get done. And Reed's got the bid. They've been so busy doing all these projects this summer that they hope to get to it here this fall, and we'll get it paid for with harbor funds that have already been assigned to it, but it just didn't make it onto this year's budget. So sorry about that. We're planning for the 160 roughly of what the bid came in at, plus some oversight by Murph Engineering. So
Okay, thank you for
That's
that
what that's about.
clarification.
Yep.
Appreciate that. All right, are there any other questions? All right, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Member Newman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Marsh,
Yes.
Member Valentine,
Yes.
Member Lynn,
Yes.
Member Stanton Greger,
Yes.
Member Schwartz,
Yes.
You, motion passes 6-0. Next, we have the Aquatic Center Sewer Line Repair Project. Parks and Recreation Director Payne has received biddable documents for the Aquatic Center Sewer Line Repair Project and is seeking assembly approval to send the project out to bid. A copy of the documents is attached to this packet. Could I get a motion, please?
I would move that we send this Aquatic Center Sewer Line Repair Project out to bid as outlined by Director Payne.
Second.
Thank you. Member Stanton Greger put forward the motion. Members Newman put forward the second. Any questions? Member Lynn?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. First of all, I read that, I read the plans on that, and they're about as clear as mud.
yeah.
A couple questions for you. One is, how did we review those plans and know that that is really going to solve our problem?
Through the mayor, we had a plumbing designer come down through the engineering business respec. They came towards the end of last year to go through with the scope and take pictures of the line, as well as our wastewater department came through as well and scoped the lines, but we saw significant voids where the bottom of the drains were in those locker rooms to where the pipe began, because it has all settled away and has pulled the pipes away. So we had the plumbing designer come down through respec and go through those lines with us, and then just going over the documents several times with the remaining designers of respec to go through to determine which is going to be the best route to go through and repair the broken pipes.
Do you think that this now then will solve the problem and will take care of the leaks and so forth we have? And I would say that also inside the building.
Yes, we have a few lines, especially in the family locker room, that are plugged completely with rocks. So we haven't been able to use the family locker room water supply for almost 2 years now.
Yep, and then in the plans, when I was reading them, part of it shows that that we're adding, it looks to me like additional supports to support not only the new drains and so forth, but also support some of the partitions in there. Did I read that correctly?
The supports that you're going to see that are going to be added are for the pipes themselves, so that they are supported from the building itself.
From the building?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Covered it.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Director Payne, do we have an estimated timeline that we're looking at for this project completion?
Yes, through the mayor, I would like for the project to start in next year, next June 1st. That lines up with our annual closure so that they can get the dirty work done while we are closed. That's cutting through the concrete and getting all of that dust settled before we open the doors back up 2 weeks later for patrons to reuse the facility. And I am hoping that we can also keep the pool open with just some modifications, making sure that we still have a clear fire escape But they can also use the locker rooms down at the end of the hallway towards the gym side so that it won't hinder the patron usage over the summer. But, so I'd like for them to start June 1st of next year.
And to be mostly done within 2 weeks? Or are we looking beyond that?
Goodness, no. That would be splendid. No, but I do want them to be done. I put a substantial completion date of August 8th with a final completion date a week later on the 7th or on the 15th. That way, everything is done before school starts.
Like a good plan.
That's
Thank
what
you.
I'm hoping for. Thank you.
Okay. All right, with no other questions, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Member Stanton Gregor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Marsh,
Yes.
Member Valentine,
Yes.
Member Schwartz,
Yes.
Member Lynn,
Yes.
Member Newman.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 6-0. Next, we have correspondence received since July 31, 2025. You can find that in the packet online. Next, we have assembly discussion items. Is there anyone who would like to bring forth member comments or recognitions? Seeing none, could I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Donna,
So moved.
Before you adjourn, we do have one recognition at the back.
I did, sorry. Through Aaron Hankins, we worked with the American Red Cross this past weekend with several members of the community joining and volunteering to act out scenarios and be escorted to our gymnasium, as our gymnasium is our emergency shelter should anything happen in town. And it was really a wonderful turnout, had a great time just with all of the acting of the injured persons. That was pretty entertaining. But also it was a great way to see how it's all going to lay out with the many cots that we have and just get a layout for what that would look like should we ever have to go that route, which I hope we don't. But it was really a great review and in a way to get us ready. So we had staff there and volunteers, and it was really great to have. We had 2 people from the American Red Cross that specialize in sheltering events come down, one from Anchorage and one from Juneau. So on behalf of Aaron Hankins, we did that and it was really great. Thank you.
Okay, now I guess we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting